Hello, this is Craig Lane with Health Alchemy. I got an inquiry from one of my people today, and I was intrigued enough to just do a little short video about it, and we'll post this. And it's really about what is food poisoning, and what is the difference between food poisoning and an immediate response to a food like allergen? So there's this thing about the immediate response versus the delayed response. And a classic case of food poisoning is in food poisoning, they usually have a delay. It needs to sort of sit in there and ferment and grow and divide. And so generally it's an 18 to 24-hour thing as I remember it, but I might not be totally on base there. And then, so that would qualify not as in my levels of food, not the fourth level down, which is what I call a poison. That would be qualified as a poison, but not on the level that we think. There's personal poisons that we react to because of the proteins in them and the configuration of the food. And then there's poisons from rotten food. And, food rot's really interesting. We talk about meat and dairy, but when raw meat and raw dairy usually doesn't rot, it usually, the enzymes and the microbes on the meat and dairy usually digest it. It's usually, there's a documented instance of people eating rotting meat and being okay. And throughout the world, people are fermenting meat because the enzyme in raw meat breaks it down. So when you cook the meat, that's when you run into the trouble. And that's where the food laws and the whole thing with food safety comes into play. But with raw meat and raw dairy, it's a little different than we were taught because of the enzymes and the microbes. But once you cook something and you cook all the bad and good bugs out and you cook all the enzymes out, and then whatever's in the environment is going to get on there, and that's going to cause the rot. So generally with food poisoning, then you can have a couple different types. You can have a rotten biology downstairs that's just generally reactive to a lot of different things, and you could have a more solid system. And you can put, like, I ate some really sketchy organ meat pate last week. It actually smelled. My sense of smell was like a barely like, well, do I want to eat this? Ate it, ate the first half, and felt a little off. But then I asked my stomach. I said, "Can we do the rest of this?" And it said, "Fine." So I think in the past I would have gotten food poisoning from that, but I had a little reaction, but I don't know exactly what it might have been because I also ate one of my food poisons, which are bananas, and another food poison, avocado, and I can only do these once in a while. So, what would Royal Lee say? The question was asked, what would Royal Lee say? Bernard Jensen say? And I have to look that one up. But at the top of my head, just from my experience here, yeah, food poisoning and food reactions are two different things. And you can refer to my 4 levels of food video on YouTube, 4 levels of food video. That has a great, yeah, it has a really nice talking about your optimal level of food. You put in a certain amount of energy to digest it, and you get back more than you put in. That's optimum, right? The next level down is neutral, and it's sort of like finance. You put in a certain amount in finance to get a certain return on your investment, and you're looking for a good ROI, return on investment, for your body. The third level down below neutral is it's what I call an intolerance, where you can probably get away, depending on how strong you are, with eating it days, weeks, months, maybe even. But there's going to come a point where you're going to notice like you're putting in 10 and getting back 5 units. And a degenerative spiral, an inflammatory spiral will ensue at some point. And then finally is the lowest level of food, which is an outright poison. You're going to respond poorly almost immediately. And I believe that's because the stomach mucosa and the saliva, there's proprioceptors, and in different people they receive the food differently. And if we have a sort of reactive system, then I got a client with potential client with chronic vomiting or cyclical vomiting syndrome. And so vomiting is connected to this because it's a sensitive nervous system, and the stomach meridian is supposed to go down from here. It goes down like that. And if the meridian goes up, if the energy of the stomach goes up, then that's what we call vomiting in Chinese medicine. I don't know that this helps answer the question entirely, but there's some good research here. Obviously, I don't have time to do, and this might spur a few of the assistants out. But this will be on my general YouTube playlist, and it will also be on the for my assistants on my teaching platform, which is an unlisted playlist for my health classes. So if you'd like to be a part of those health classes, you can contact me on my website, healthalchemy.com. Maybe at some point we'll have an annotation and a little link you can click on these, but I'm not there yet. I'm a content guy. Okay, bye folks.